Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Sunday, February 13th. So the moon is going to continue to be in Cancer all day. And of course, this makes us hypersensitive, highly protective, a little bit cautious and nervous, overly attached to the past, and heavily focused on the home and family dynamic and how it is that it's actually changing. We have a tendency to want to stick to what is old, what is familiar. That makes us feel safe, even if it feels a little bit uncomfortable. This moon in Cancer is definitely going to give us all the feels. It's also going to give us an opportunity to align with our higher selves, trust our intuition, and definitely contemplate where it is that we're going to go from here. There are 8 different aspects taking place here today. 7 of them involve this moon. This is also the last day that Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, is going to be in Capricorn. We are preparing to move into Aquarian energy once again. And of course, on the last day that any planet is stationed in an energy before shifting into another, we have to expect an intensity. We have to expect a little bit of pressure in order to wrap that particular life lesson up. So right out of the gate, we have the moon sitting across from opposing Venus, who, as you know, is still working on getting up to snuff, up to speed. This is definitely going to put us at odds with our own self, especially with what it is that we need emotionally, especially when it comes to our relationships. Why? Because the moon in Cancer is very fixated on the past. Again, very attached to the old ways of doing things, old ways of life, old parts of self. And of course, we had Venus go in a retrograde. We were illuminated to where it is that we've been doing a disservice to ourselves. We've been illuminated to a new worth, a new value within ourselves. We know that we have to make some changes. And of course, Venus wants to make those changes when she gets up to full speed. But right now, we're kind of at odds with our own self. We don't know if we have the courage, the bravery to go ahead and do what is necessary in order to up our game in our physical realms. Of course, that's Venus energy, because our emotions, our memories, our identity, our heart is still very attached to the old constructs, the old structures that we know we have to break away from. We're definitely going to get a little bit of a tough love life lesson when the moon goes ahead and bumps into Saturn. This is likely going to come from an outside external force, reminding us of the roles and responsibilities that we have, the commitments that we've made, and technically where it is that we're feeling held back, where it is that we're feeling blocked, where it is that we're feeling restricted in our lives. Again, the moon in Cancer wants to stick with the old, and Saturn, although traditional and would like to stick with the old as well, is also in Aquarian energy, pushing us to visualize what it is that we can be doing for ourselves in the here and now to better our future self. The only aspect that isn't involving the moon here today is the sun in Aquarius, which is semi-squaring Chiron, the wounded healer. Now, let me tell you, this is our urgency, our desire to want to learn, to want to grow. We're recognizing the spiritual lessons being thrown at us, forcing us to make a major move. Yes, we want to grow through the growing pains of the relationships that we deem to be of value as of right now, but we're lacking confidence. We have a lot of fear that we're not good enough, that we're not going to be able to be bold and brave enough to actually see these changes through. Although this lack of confidence, this fear-mongering within ourselves is definitely going to put a damper on our day, it is going to help us understand a little bit more about our goals, our dreams, our desires. That's what fear does. We take that fear, we see where it is that fear is trying to hold us back, and that's what we know for sure we have to do. The moon is going to help us out, though, by bumping into the sun in a very harmonious aspect, giving us the confidence to align with our higher self, to see the possibilities of our future vision, of our future dreams. We are kind of coming into the present moment at this particular point in the day. And then the moon goes ahead and trines Neptune. This is definitely going to put us in touch with our intuition. It is going to allow us to kind of float away from those fears, those insecurities that we would have felt earlier on in in the day in order to actually dream a bigger dream and become very creative in how it is that we can implement these small changes in our lives now in order to line up with the bigger, greater, grander picture. We're going to get a lot of inspiration, a lot of ideas coming at us when the moon goes ahead and bumps into Uranus. Uranus rules over the higher intellect. We are bringing information in from the higher realms. We are being downloaded with aha moments where we shift our perspective. And this is exactly what we need at this time to bust out of the comfortability and the romanticizing of our past situation. Again, the moon in Cancer wants to kind of rewrite the past in a much fluffier way to make it seem like it's not as bad in order for us to justify staying in the same old, same old. The moon is going to bump into Jupiter, though, and then into the sun in not the most positive of ways. And let me tell you, this is where we're going to have a choice point. Yes, Jupiter wants us to grow. He wants us to expand, especially in leaning all the way into our intuition, our higher selves. The sun, though, is our present moment ego. It is illuminating for us what it is that we have to do in the here and now in order to change, in order to improve, in order to actually align with the new vision, the new dreams that we are actually becoming more and more aware of that we want so freaking badly. So this particular energy is going to put a lot of pressure on us, will likely bring up some of the doubts, some of the insecurities that we kind of faced earlier on in the day that we did a very good job of overriding in our brains. But at the same time, there's a huge illumination. There's a huge choice point on, are we going to stick with the same old, and revolve around the same old topics, or are we going to be brave enough to step out of the old and at least embrace the possibilities of the new and, of course, evolve into our higher selves, into a new state of awareness and enlightenment, and, of course, a new vibration and frequency that will start attracting the new elements of the dreams and visions in which we're currently praying for.